Hey up everybody, Magpie Gaming here, and in this video we're going to talk about Escape from Tarkov and some of the latest news that we have about this game. Now recently there was a podcast with Veritas and Pestilli and Nikita, who is the COO of Battlestate Games, and they've been doing a couple of these recently, getting some good news out from them, and I have sat and watched the whole of this and read through the summary, what was put out afterwards. So I've done like a little bit of a deconstruction from it just to get the main juicy points out of this. Now if you want to know everything that was in this, then the only way to do that is to actually watch it yourself, and it is on Pestilli's Twitch channel, so I will put a link in the description down below for you. So as I say, if you want to know every little detail, then the best thing to do is go and watch that, but I've just picked out some of the main points from that podcast. So first of all, we're going to go through the patches that are coming up. We've got 11.7 and we've got 0.12, and also there's some stuff that they want to do in the future. I'm going to talk about that quickly as well. But first of all, wipes. Now we was told that with 0.12 there will definitely be a wipe. There was no date for that patch, and at the beginning of the year we was told there would be 11.5, 11.7 and eventually 12. And the way that they talked about it at that time made it sound as though within the first 3 to 4 months of the year we would have all of these patches rolling out. So after a couple of months we would definitely get a wipe with 0.12. But it seems like the timeline for these patches is a little bit longer than that right now. We've had 11.5 and we've had a few hotfixes on top of that, and that is basically all we've had so far this year, and we're now, towards the latter part of March. So we're almost 6 months on now since the last wipe. And it's got to be said that yes, there is a lot of people asking for a wipe. A lot of people asking for a wipe and can't really explain why they want it. Some people want that challenge of going back to zero and starting again. And you get a lot of people out there, myself included sometimes, that say, well, you can just log into your account and wipe it manually. The only issue with that is that not everybody else is reset. I guess a lot of these people just want everybody on a level playing field and starting again. But yeah, the game's holding up pretty well without a wipe. They introduced the marketplace, the flea market, and things have worked very well since then. There's been obviously some trouble with it. They've had to freeze prices and things like that, but it's worked quite well. And overall, I don't think the game has really needed a wipe for any other reason other than people just want to start from the beginning again. They've reached the end game and, they don't really know what else to do right now. So one of the things that was discussed in the podcast was that there will be a wipe on 11.7. So when we get 11.7, there is no date for that patch right now. We will get a wipe with that patch. And then there is going to be another wipe with 0.12. So it makes me think that the gap between 11.7 and 0.12 is going to be quite a lot. We could be talking 3 to 4 months, probably looking at getting 12 towards maybe the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year, which is a long timeline for these patches. But the reason I say that is because you don't want to wipe this game every month or every couple of months, because then that tends to piss people off as well. So as I say, no dates yet. As soon as I do know dates, obviously I will put that out on my Twitter and I'll do a video about that. So they say for 11.7 the patch is currently being prepared. It's going to come with some new content, new weapons and more fixes. I've already done a video on some of the stuff that is going to be coming out in that. There will be a link in the description below, and I'll try and put one on screen if I remember. So yeah, there's not too much to be spoken about what's coming in it. It is largely a content update, but some of the fixes that didn't make it into 11.5 will be pushed into 11.7. They then go on to talk about 0.12. They say that this is going to be the biggest patch that they've ever done for this game. They've got no exact date for it obviously, but it's going to be huge. They're saying that they are going to move over to the new version of the Unity engine when 0.12 comes out. That in itself has to be a massive undertaking for them at Battlestate Games to move everything over to a new engine. But I've seen some demos of the Unity engine. There's a demo going around at the moment where it's kind of like a futuristic city, and that demo was shown off to show how it can handle huge world maps, open world maps, and it does them with ease. So I'm quietly confident that when we move over to the new version, it might sort quite a lot of the lag and desync issues that we have with the game currently. Anyway, I can keep my fingers crossed for that, because it's one of the things that really annoys us about this game is that lag and desync that you get when you're playing the game. So hopefully the new version of Unity will get us moving better with that. There's going to be a shooting range that's going to be included in the hideout, which will obviously be in 0.12. Not too many details out there about the hideout right now. You're going to be able to gather materials though and create your own, I think you're going to be able to create your own ammunition and supplies and things like that with the materials you gather. So I would expect that the amount of things that can be gathered within the game will actually go up. So there will be a lot of people going out foraging for materials and selling them on the marketplace, because obviously they'll be worth quite a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to see how the hideout works, but for now we don't really have any kind of idea how it will work. They're also looking to put Steam audio into 0.12. Now the audio recently has had a tweak and an update. I found the audio within the game to be very, very quiet for some reason. I'm not sure why. To the point where when I played after the recent hotfix where they'd applied this sound patch, I actually had to check my system volumes to make sure that they were set up correctly because it was so quiet. It wasn't too bad when people were in proximity of me, but people kind of far away, it was very, very quiet. Now I know that they've worked on the like directional sound and positional sound, but they're going to look at putting Steam audio into 0.12. And if you didn't know, Valve do actually make their own audio streams for gaming, and apparently it's quite well renowned and a lot of people do enjoy using it, so hopefully that might sort some of the sound issues that we have out with the game. Voice over IP is going to be added into 0.12. That is still on track apparently. That'll be quite an interesting one to have in the game, being able to actually communicate with people in proximity. I think it'll be a bonus, especially for people that want to team up. You know, currently you can team up with people in the game, but you can't communicate with them unless you're able to add them into the messaging chat and maybe join their TeamSpeak or Discord server so that you can chat to them properly. So the proximity chat will make it a little bit easier for people to team up, and obviously for people to beg for their lives when somebody's going to kill them and they're only running as a hatchet. I think I might be doing that quite a lot. Also, the military base is still on track to be placed into 0.12. They said that the developers are working on multiple new maps at the same time. Obviously, I think the military base will have a little bit more of their attention because that is going to be the next one out, but they are working on other maps as well, so that's good to know. It's good to know that we might actually see more than just one map this year. I mean, I suppose you can count Labs because it came out very, very close to New Year. You know, it came out on Christmas Day, so it was a week away from New Year. So do you want to count that in this year's? I'm not too sure. As I said, last year we only had Interchange. We had one map all year, unless you count Labs, but that was very, very close to the end of the year. So I'd like to see more than just one big map put into this game this year. I think it definitely gets to the point where it becomes a little bit stale. So hopefully military base will be a good addition. Then they go on to talk about some of the things that they're constantly working on, and one of those is the anti-cheat. And I guess you could say I've been a little bit pessimistic towards their own anti-cheat. I've got to say that being in the game, I've rarely witnessed many people that I believe are cheating when they've killed me. I've seen a lot of speed hackers, I've seen that quite a lot, which, you know, as long as they're not speed hacking and killing me, I aren't too bothered. They shouldn't be in the game, obviously, but as long as they're staying out of my way and I can enjoy the game, then I aren't too bothered about that, but obviously it shouldn't be there. But there are so many other cheat options out there that Battlestate could employ rather than putting their own efforts into creating their own anti-cheat. I think maybe it's something that they should hand it over to maybe a third party. I mean, you see a lot of AAA developers now using easy anti-cheat. You know, would it be too unreasonable to want Battlestate to do the same? Surely that would free up some resources within their development team and would put more faith in the players knowing that the anti-cheat is taken care of properly. I'm not saying that Battlestate don't take care of it, obviously they want to. If they don't, then people stop playing the game and stop buying it. But people don't have faith in a system that's very, very shut off and doesn't seem to work too well. So yeah, I think maybe they could hand it over to somebody else. It's definitely something that I'd like to see in the future. Definitely before release of the full game, but we'll have to see on that one. They also say that developers know what is causing desync issues and they're working to fix it. Now they don't go into detail over what desync issues they're talking about because there are numerous ones within the game. But all being well, something will be rolled out, maybe in 11.7 or at least 12, and we'll see desync, you know, maybe tackled just a little bit more. And then they went on to talk about future plans for the game. Now, they talk about a free roam mode for the game, where all of the maps will be stitched together in one giant map. Now, that sounds amazing. Sounds really good. And there are people out there that say at the moment when you load into a map, all of the other maps are actually loaded in that instance as well. So the game actually runs with all the other maps loaded. You just obviously can't see them because there's no way to get over to them. But they are looking to stitch them all together as one giant map, which as I say, sounds great, but will it work in practice? How will it work? Will there be a lot of lag issues and desync issues if you was to do that? It's an exciting one, but I think it's something that maybe they don't need to concentrate too much on right now. There are more pressing issues to get sorted out with the game. And the other one is that there'll be a graphical overhaul for the game before its full release. Again, not going into details about what that will be. I think as long as the switch over to the new Unity engine goes smoothly, I think they will take advantage of that and we will see better and more smoother graphics within the game. So how much of an overhaul they would actually have to do before the game is released is questionable. But yeah, anything that makes the game look better and run smoother is a bonus in my eyes. And that was pretty much all of the main information that I gleaned from this podcast. As I said, they're amazing to watch, they're really good, you get a good insight, especially into Nikita. He gets a lot of shit from people, but when you actually listen to him talking, you realise that Escape from Tarkov is a labour of love for him, and he really does want it to succeed. And I think unlike other games out there, the community of Escape from Tarkov wants it to succeed. It's such a unique game and such a unique way of playing a first-person shooter. I think everybody wants it to succeed and be a really, really good game. And I definitely think over the last year it has gained a lot of traction in the community. It broke into the top 10 streamed games on Twitch, I think, and there are a lot of prominent people playing it and trying it out, so it's only a good thing at the end of the day. But like I said, the link is in the description if you want to watch the podcast. I would recommend watching it because you do glean a lot of information out of these. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. So exciting times ahead for Escape from Tarkov. I'm looking forward to the new map. I'm looking forward to the voice over RP. Most of all, I'm just looking forward to the bugs and things getting fixed, and hopefully the lag and desync issues, eventually getting eliminated. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.